Welcome back to Vader TV. This is John Chenal, and we're talking today about cyber squatting, when companies take a domain name and it's a little bit misspelled and use it to serve up ads. Talking today with the Citizen Hawk CEO, Graham McRoby. Graham, welcome.
Thank you.
You guys have a service for businesses that you go after cyber squatters and help them get that traffic back. But talk a little bit about, for some of the entrepreneurs out there, what they can do to preempt having someone take their domain name in the first place. It's probably registering, but talk a little bit about what you guys would advise for people to do.
Sure. Well, as a website gets larger and larger over time, it is a statistical certainty that the misspelled domain names around that domain name will be registered by somebody else through automated means. It will definitely happen. So Citizen Hawk can certainly help companies find the misspelled versions of their own name that matter, the ones that will get traffic over time, and help them purchase those names in advance of somebody else buying them, which is significantly cheaper than trying to go and get those names back after the fact.
Now, you mentioned that Apple with the iPhone, they didn't do such a great job up front in terms, there was a lot of cyber squatted names that they're going to have to go after now, probably.
Sure, and I hate to pick on Apple because this happens to every major consumer brand that you could possibly mention. But after iPhone was announced, in the weeks and months after that, in fact, in some cases hours right away, there were something in the neighborhood of 20,000 domain names that were registered that potentially infringe on the iPhone mark. And I say that meaning they could be misspellings of iPhone, or it might be iPhone plus another word, something like that. And most of the 20,000 names probably don't matter. They get maybe a tiny amount of traffic, maybe no traffic. But there are a few of those names that are really valuable, that are going to get significant volumes of traffic. And so a company like Apple, in advance of having launched a brand like iPhone, could have registered the few names that do matter, and again, at a considerably less expensive option than having to go and reclaim those names after the fact.
Right. And have you guys found that there are repeat offenders? Are these, how much do people make on cyber squatting? Are these big, huge enterprises, or are these small people who don't know that it's a $100,000 fine per name if they end up having a civil action against them?
There's an even mix of both. So when we look at the cloud of misspelled domain names around somebody's mark, and there may be hundreds of them, of these domains, we'll find some huge companies that we know for a fact are making millions and millions of dollars a year behind some of those cyber squatting names, and we'll find lots of what you might call mom and pops, people that just registered one or two domain names on a lark, and maybe they're useless names that make no money. And so I would say that the large organizations probably know, I can't say for certain, but I would imagine they know exactly what the fines are, and are sort of counting on companies not doing that. And there's a scale involved, so they figure, we're making millions and millions of dollars. Maybe I get fined $100,000 once or twice, and it works out in the end. I suspect, if I had to guess, that the smaller mom and pop kinds of cyber squatters probably are unaware of the potential damages.
Now, one interesting, ironic, and maybe unfortunate twist for you guys are backed by Maveron, who also took an investment in Internet REIT, iREIT, which was found to have cyber squatted some names. What is that sort of experience for you guys? How has that helped? Has that hurt? Is there any kind of lesson there in terms of, for the investors, in terms of why they maybe invested in you guys and appreciate the seriousness of the problem?
Yeah, I think that there may be a lesson there. I think that iREIT has, and I've spoken with the CEO and at some length, and they have gone to incredible lengths to try and be amongst the very cleanest, so to speak, of domain portfolio owners. They have removed very aggressively from their portfolio potentially infringing domain names. They have gone to some lengths to be transparent, in that you can find when they own a name, they're right there, so you know what their portfolio is. And they work in an extremely cooperative manner, to the best of my knowledge, with people who complain about names that they own that they think may infringe on their marks. And so that process has been one that I think has really helped Maveron appreciate why what Citizen Hawk does might be valuable for other companies. And so they've seen the process that iREIT went through, and looking at our technology and the scope of the problem as a whole, I believe they found that we have something valuable to offer to other companies as well.
Okay. Graham, last thing quickly, how fast is this market growing that you guys are participating in? What is it?
Oh, I think that it's growing incredibly quickly. There are, as I mentioned before, millions and millions of cyber squatting domain names, and companies, in my opinion, are only just barely starting to come to terms with exactly how valuable that real estate is.
And you guys already have revenue, have customers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Graham, thanks for coming by today.
Thank you.
Okay, we've been speaking today about cyber squatting with Graham McRoby of Citizen Hawk. For Vader TV, this is John Chenal.